take over, nigga the take over, nigga the take over, nigga the break's over, take over, nigga the take over, nigga the take over, nigga the break's over, take over, nigga the take.
Stand up, yo, flow across the trans invasion. Stand up, yo, flow across the trans invasion. Stand up.
Season 2 of The Takeover. I'm here with legendary hip-hop artist Tragedy Khadafi, one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. If you don't, check the resume. You heard it here first from Big U. No one don't like it, fuck it. You know what I mean? But, Trag, man, it was a pleasure, man.
Same here.
And we're going to get into the beginning of your career. What got you into the music that we consider hip-hop these days and some people call rap? What got you inspired to get involved, and what made you as an artist in the beginning? And a lot of people don't realize this. You started as a young kid, a young, not even adult, a young child in this game.
Yeah, what got me started in music, or hip-hop, I should say, was like, the minute I heard hip-hop and recognized hip-hop for what it was, I was probably like 8, 9 years old. And I just was captivated out the gate. I was captivated, and like I would just always want to hear it, and I would always just want to study it. And I would always say to myself, yo, what makes this dude rhyme like that? Like, how does he rhyme like that? How does he put his words together? And I would just study it. And I remember the first record I bought Spoonie G's Love Rap, and I just would play that record. Man, that record started getting warped and scratched up. I was playing it so much I had the Mickey Mouse turntable. I was like in 2nd grade, man, and I just would play it all the time and just try to cut it and spin it. And I just from that point on, I became a student of rap. You know, you had dudes that was like into ball. I was never into basketball. And it's funny because like my mom's was nice in ball.
Oh, word?
And my pops was nice in ball. And like I just didn't I didn't gravitate to it, and I just gravitated to music. I gravitated to hip hop. And once I started like memorizing Spoonie G's rhymes, I would just say his rhymes all the time. I'd be sitting in school saying Spoonie G Love Rap in class, and the teacher would get at me and all that. And then I started just writing my own joints. And when I started writing my own joints, I was like, yo, this shit is alright. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling this shit right here. And I just would go and I never really said my raps to anybody.
Yeah.
And it was one dude, man. It's my brother, man. His name is Black Poet. He's from the Bridge. He's the one who came out. Yeah, that's right. And but he came out way before Screwball. He had a record called. Yeah, he went at KRS-One when KRS-One went at the Bridge. And he also had a record called Beat You Down and all that.
I remember, the funny thing about it is, not to cut you off,
we built
KRS-One even put him in the remix for Still Number One. He tried to come at him. He was like, coming at Poet. At the time, I'm a young cat, and I'm like, that's when I started getting like, yo, who's this cat?
Poet, yeah. Poet was very instrumental in helping me build my confidence and build my skill up enough to present it to the public. And I always commend Poet on that, because he really encouraged me when a lot of people would just hear I could rap, never really heard my raps, but would try to shun me. And Poet, one day I went to Poet's crib, because Poet was actually in my class. We were actually classmates. Me and Poet were classmates from elementary to junior high school. And incidentally, that's the same school like Nas went to, I went to, Poet went to. It's called 204 in Astoria, Queens. But Poet was real instrumental in helping me like hone my skills. And like, after I got enough confidence up to let him hear it, I went to his crib one day, and it was funny because him and Craig G was there. And Craig, that's my man. But at the time, Craig was kind of like, and Poet was like, yo, let me hear your rhyme. And Craig was kind of like, he I feel him. He ain't want no outsiders in. Even though I was from the block, I was a new dude. So, I spit my rhyme for Poet, and Poet was like, yo, that's crazy. Like, how you rhyme like that? Like, so. Ever since then, man, like my confidence just started growing. And in hip hop, it's you gotta have a lot of confidence. You know what I'm saying? So
another thing I wanted to get into, a lot of artists don't realize that, and they always like, they're unfamiliar where it starts from. But this is the way you could correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like you came with that scientific flow that no other cat came with besides Rakim at that time. And it seems like you birthed a lot of these styles that's going on and went into the 90s. If they look back and they look at the foundation, it was basically Tragedy Khadafi. You know what I mean?
I'll say this. I can't take credit for coming with the scientific flow. And the reason being is that you had like T-La Rock, It's Yours,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? T-La Rock was scientific with his flow.
Jazzy
you
Jazz.
had LL, and you had Ultramagnetic MCs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they were scientific with their flow in the sense of like they used words that were bigger than 5 letters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were coming with different words and words that you had to look in the dictionary to understand.
Yeah.
And that inspired me. Now, what I will take credit for is that I didn't come with the scientific flow. I think I started once I heard them. I took a piece in a sense of that scientific. Some people call it scientific. I just call it more intellectual.
Yeah.
I started becoming more intellectual and infusing that with my life, which was the street.
Yeah.
So I bridged the two together.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because most of the time during that era, you either had to been like real knowledgeable like KRS-One, Public Enemy, or you was street like NWA and Coogee Rap, and no one really put the both worlds together.
Exactly, and even more so, like, this is before NWA,
Yeah.
and G-Rap was just like, to me, G-Rap was the first gangster rapper.
He was,
in my opinion, because he was the one coming with, if you ask me why, because I'm fly. He was coming with that and coming with,
Rikers Island.
yeah, I'm a pimp, ravioli. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a demo, you know what I'm saying? He was going in, so like G-Rap was the first gangster rapper to me. G-Rap and Just Ice, they were like the first gangster rappers to me, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. But like I feel, I was able to bridge, into intellectualism and the hood together. You know what I'm saying? Because in essence, that's what I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's who I am and that's what I am, and I've always been that. So I could definitely take credit for that and not feel like I can't look myself in the mirror after this interview. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I'm gonna move forward. Now, once you got involved with the Juice Crew, who introduced you to Molly, and how did Molly decide to pick who he wanted from Queensbridge infuse him into the Juice Crew? And another thing is a 2-part question. It was other cats who wasn't from Queensbridge that was in the Juice Crew, and what made him decide to bring in the Master Aces and the Big Daddy Kanes and brought him into the Juice Crew?
To my knowledge, it was actually Biz who brung Kane to Marley. Biz was very instrumental in bringing a lot of talent to Marley. Of course, Shantae, was a QB native, and Shan is originally from Brooklyn, but was also to a QB native in the sense that he lived in the bridge. But and in terms of like I don't really know how Master Ace came to the group. Master Ace came to the group when I was away. When I got incarcerated. He became part of the Juice Crew then. The original members were like, Kane, Shan, G-Rap. G-Rap is actually from Corona. I don't know how Marley met G-Rap. I just know, like, when I came to the Juice Crew, Marley was obviously Marley, Shan, Shantae, Biz, Kane, and G-Rap and Craig.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Swan was like
Doing the hooks.
Yeah, he wasn't an official member of the Juice Crew, but he was part of the team and all that. Cool V, DJ Polo. You know what I'm saying? If I haven't had to mention him already, but when I came, I came on the end of it, so to speak, and I got into some trouble, got into some situations, and I wound up going away when I was 16, upstate, and while I was away, Marley put Master Ace on, you know what I'm saying? Which was a smart move, man. Master Ace is a highly credible MC, and he's a real dude. He's a good dude, man. So when I came home and I met Ace, at first I was like reluctant, because I'm like, you know, I'm young, so I'm like, who's this dude, you know? But when I got to talk with Ace, I'm like, yo, it's a cool dude. I like him, I rocks with him. So, you know, me and Ace vibe and everything was peace. But, you know, everybody that was a part of the Juice Crew wasn't necessarily a part of the Bridge. Now, to answer the other part of your question, nobody actually really bring me to Marley. I had people promising to bring me to Marley. Like, you know, it was an OG dude I used to run with. He used to always sell me dreams. I'm not even going to mention his name, because I don't even rock with him like that. But at the time, I was young and I was trying to get on, so you could have told me anything. Long as if you told me, yo, you had a studio, I would hang with you every day just to get in that studio. And, you know, he took advantage of that for a long time with my loyalty, but it's all good. You live and learn. But I never actually got the introduction to Marley by way of someone else. I found out where Marley lived, which he lived 2 blocks away from me on 12th Street. That's actually the block Havoc's from and Capone is from. And I actually just went to his door and was just knocking at his door every day.
He didn't look up like, yo, who's little
man? You know, he came, he would open the door sometime and be like, yo, what's up? Like, what you want? And I'm like, yo, man, I want you to hear me. And he was like, what? Like, yo, all right, listen, come out. I'm busy right now. You know, I hear him banging, doing his joints on the I think it was a 808 rolling or 909, whatever them joints was. It was mad little. The beat machine was like this big. And I'll be, you know, trying to peek in the crib. It's like, damn, that weed smell good, you know. But I'm mad young. I'm a shorty, so I'm like, damn. But I smoked weed at the time. I was young, like, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he brushed me off, and he did that for a couple of weeks. And you know, eventually he was, you know, he was like, damn, shorty, like, yo, man, you just keep pressing me, like, you know, cause I'm aggressive.
Consistent.
Yeah, I'm very aggressive. When you know, I'm very aggressive, and people didn't really get to see how aggressive I was until later in my career. But I've always been aggressive. You know, and so from that point on, you know, he started, you know, opening the door literally and letting me in. And then one day he just was like, yo, let me hear something. And I said a rhyme I had called The Tragedy, which came out to be like my first official single.
Is that the one on In Control, Volume 1?
No.
No?
That's before In Control Volume 1. I put out records way before.